Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about inverses. And the way that I'm thinking about inverses is I say two functions are inverses of one another if every xy point on one of the functions has a yx point on another function. Okay? Another way that you can tell if two functions are inverses of one another is by basically taking the composition f of g of x or g of f of x, either one works, and you get back x, okay? So let's start with something very basic. If I tell you f and g are inverses of each other, and I tell you f contains the points 1, 2, 5, 4, negative 3, 6, that means g must contain the point 2, 1, 4, 5, 6, negative 3, because what we just said a few seconds ago is that if one function has xy, the other one has yx. So 1, 2 becomes 2, 1, and so on. You just flip them. How do we find the inverse? Well, we're going to start by making f of x y equals. So y equals 3x minus 4. Once we're done with that, we're going to switch our x and y, and then we are going to solve for y. Now, what I'm going to do here is divide by 3, and then I'm done with the inverse. However, one other thing that you can do instead of dividing by 3 is you can multiply the other side by 1/3. So get used to basically writing the reciprocal of 3 over 1 as 1/3 on both sides. Just don't forget to put parentheses around it. This here is the notation to tell the reader that you have found the inverse. So this little -1 is the saying that this function here and this function here are inverses of each other. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to switch our x and y, and then we're going to solve for y. And that's how we do that. Now, if I'm going too quickly, what I want you to do is pause the video and jot down any notes that you wanted to jot down. Okay, let's try another example. Y equals 2/3 x minus 7. X equals 2/3 y minus 7. X plus 7 equals 2/3 y. And once again, in order to get rid of 2/3, we're going to put 3/2 here. But you cannot do that unless you put parentheses around it. So 3/2 x plus 7 is equal to y, but that's really that. Okay? Take your time. Now, same thing here. Y equals 9, parentheses x minus 2. What you're going to want to do right away is, I know a lot of you are going to want to distribute this. Don't do that. Do not distribute. Divide by 9. Now you have y minus 2, and then add 2 to the other side. Let me move this down here. Add 2 to the other side, and we get x over 9 plus 2 equals y, which is that. Okay? You will get the same exact answer if you multiply the 9x minus 18 and figure it out. Okay, so let me just move this here. Take your time. We're going to do the same exact process here. Let me cut. Let me add a page below. And we're going to do y equals 2/3 x plus 1. Once again, the reason why I just showed you this here is because this is a nice whole number, but what about if it's fraction? It starts becoming really ugly. So let's do x 2/3 y plus 1. Flip this to the other side, and then minus 1. Okay, so what's the difference between this problem and that problem? Here, well, nothing so far. In the next problem is what I was referring to, so I'm a few steps ahead of myself. So this is how we do this problem, okay? Let's try this problem. In yesterday's lesson, you can watch the video. We're going to wrap this, anytime you have a sort of like this square root person, even though it's not a square root, it's a cube root. Anytime we have this picture here, this radical, okay, this radical here, you're going to need a number on the outside and a number on the inside. So if you take a look at the example below, we have a number on the outside. We also have the 2 for the inside. Since this didn't have a 1, I'm going to do that there. I'm going to put a 1 there because I would like to rewrite this to the 1/3 power. Okay? X equals 9y minus 4 to the 1/3. First thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take the reciprocal and put it on the other side. And then we're going to add 4, and then we're going to divide by 9, and that is our inverse. Okay? So take your time. Once again, all of this is how do we solve for the inverse. So add page below. Okay, in this problem here, we're going to do the same thing. We are going to do 2x minus 1 to the 2/5. The denominators are the people on the outside. We're going to go x equals 2y minus 1 to the 2/5. We're going to flip this to the other side. So we're going to have 5/2. Okay, we're going to add 1 and then divide by 2, and that's equal to the inverse. So this here is the inverse of this here. Okay, we have 2 more examples. This one, once again, I don't have anything here on the inside, so you're going to put a 1 there. So I'm going to write x to the 3rd minus 8 over 7 to the 1/7. I'm going to just switch my x and y so you guys can write your next step, but I'm not going to keep writing it over. I'm going to flip the 1/7 to the other side as 7. And then I'm going to get rid of the parentheses, and now I'm going to cross multiply. So this times this equals, okay, we're going to add 8. And then, once again, in order to get rid of an exponent, you raise the entire other side by its reciprocal. So therefore, this is my final answer, or you might see it looking like this. Okay, I'm making another inverse video. So for right now, I'm going to stop here. And then I'm going to have some more complex or complicated inverse. So come back for the next video.